loves, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading for you guys. This one is all about where you'll be 10 years from now. So very excited about this video. If you guys are new to pick a card readings, I'm going to give you guys a quick little rundown of how they work. So over here we have pile number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can take a moment, pause the video if you'd like to find the pile that you're the most drawn to. Once you're done choosing your pile, you can scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that's linked to your specific card. So then you can skip ahead and watch your personal reading all about where you'll be 10 years from now. If you guys like to choose with crystals below the cards, I'll be popping some crystals on there right now. Alright, so if you guys like to choose with crystals, here are our crystal options. Over here we have sunset quartz. This is a piece of citrine. This over here is argonite. This over here is another piece of citrine. And then over here we have a goldstone heart. So choose your pile, pause the video if you'd like, if you want some extra time choosing your pile. And then again, scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that's linked to your specific card once you're done choosing, so you can skip ahead and watch your personal reading all about where you're gonna be 10 years from now. So without further ado, let's hop right into this video starting now. All right, so my first group, if you guys chose this pile, this is gonna be your reading all about where you're gonna be 10 years from now. So let's get started. All right, so group number 1, this is what we have for you guys. We start off with the unknown card right side up, and then we have death reversed, then we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and then we have the Nine of Cups upright. So let's get into what all of this means. First off, I want to start off by talking about the Nine of Cups. 10 years from now, it's going to feel like many of your wishes are fulfilled. Nine of Cups is the card of like being granted your wishes, and so I do really want to point that out. 10 years from now, it's going to feel like you're at a whole new space of life where you feel like you've accomplished a lot of things, and like some of the gifts and desires that you've been wanting finally pop up at your doorstep, and you're like, yes, we got here. Though I do want to say, because the fact that the Knight of Pentacles was reversed over here with the Death being reversed, this is like we're desiring some sort of career change at this point, or something to do with our material life, and we're desiring like a material change. So this can deal with career, this can deal with the way that we decorate our home, even if that's something that's really prominent in your life. It can be talking about some really big purchases that you guys are desiring to make, like buying a new home, things like that. Anything to deal with this, you feel like it's delayed. And so it could even be that you guys are finally at a stage where you really want to buy your first home, or a new home, something like that, and it feels like it's been pushed back. It feels like it's been held back. And so this can come up when we experience those certain delays. If it's talking about career and stuff, it could be that you guys are really desiring a career change at this point in your lives, and you really desire to do something else. Or it could also mean that some sort of business endeavor, maybe you guys have started it, but it hasn't come to its full fruition yet, and it feels like it hasn't really taken off in the way that you desire at the moment. And so it can be indicating that, or it could also be indicating that you guys are like on the verge of starting something new at this point, because maybe your career is all good and like all that kind of stuff, but it could also mean that you desire to start like a new project at this time, or a new business at this time, stuff like that, and it just feels like you're being delayed or held back in a certain way. And we do also have the unknown card. This is stepping into the unknown. I feel like your life compared to this moment right now will be so different from your life 10 years from now. And I think that's why we have the unknown card over here, is because the type of lifestyle that you're living 10 years from now, and the desires that you're going to have 10 years from now, and all those types of things are going to be quite drastically different. I feel like you even trying to fathom it right now isn't even going to be accurate, because it's something that's so different than what you're used to at the moment. I do also want to mention the Nine of Cups. Cups usually indicates our relationships, though the Nine of Cups, it touches on all aspects of life, like getting your dreams and desires granted in all aspects of life. But for some reason, the Cups is really standing out to me. So I do think that, and I feel that your relationships are going to be really good 10 years from now, and it feels like you're going to be in really positive ones, because the Cups do correlate to our emotions and our relationships. Although again, the Nine of Cups usually correlates to like all things in our lives. It's just like granting wishes in all aspects of our lives. But I'm really being called to talk about the cup energy, and I do feel like you guys will have like a significant, like stable cup water element energy in your life, and that would be correlating towards relationships and your emotional well-being. I feel like is going to be quite good 10 years from now. Of course, though, there is this, and I do feel like somehow you guys are interested in like purchasing your own home, building your own home, stuff like that in 10 years from now. Maybe you guys already have one right now, but you're just maybe going to get a new one or a vacation home or something like that even. It can be all of the above options. Again, it is a general reading, so I'm just pointing out all the different options for you guys. But definitely some sort of like purchasing your own home, moving out on your own, whatever the case may be. I do feel this sort of energy coming from this reading. So let's add on 2 more cards to get a little bit more information about this reading here. So we start off with the spiral, and I will say in all of my time of using this deck, I've never had this card come up in a reading before, so this is actually kind of exciting. Very exciting to have that pop up here. And then we also have the wind, and so the numbers in these cards are usually pretty significant. 5s over here indicate that we are going through unexpected change. 5s are usually like, if you have a 5 energy in your life is changing around so much in that moment, and we were kind of talking about that already because of the unknown card that we have that came up. But the spiral is also like, somehow there's like a pattern that's flowing. So if you guys already feel like you're facing some of these things that I'm talking about right now, like if you're listening to this reading thinking like, well, this correlates to my life right now in this exact moment, you guys are almost going through like this repetitive pattern. And so I feel like you guys are going to be facing some similar things that you're facing right now 10 years from now. It doesn't mean that your life isn't going to change at all, because as I mentioned before, I feel like your life is going to be so drastically different, but there's going to be similar things that you're facing in terms of like what you desire in your life, similar things that you'll be facing in terms of like the obstacles that you might be facing could have like a very similar reflection 10 years from now, although I do feel like you are going to be so different as a person 10 years from now, therefore you're going to be handling it much differently, and it's going to look a lot different 10 years from now. But there is some sort of like correlation, and I also feel like the strings that you're tying right now will drastically impact you 10 years from now, because this spiral is almost like whatever you're hooking up right now, whatever patterns you're creating right now for yourself are going to dictate your life 10 years from now. So I do want you guys to keep that in mind when the spiral comes up. It usually causes much change. And I also want to say that this card comes up when, especially with that 5 energy, when we have things in our lives that we need to eradicate and get rid of. And so the 5 energy usually pushes us to all these crazy obstacles in order for us to overcome them and change a few things in our lives that need to be changed. So I definitely want to just point that out right now for you guys. The wind also over here, winds of change, you guys. You're going through the winds of change. I also feel like, wind is the air element. And if we're talking about the air element, this is like, we're doing a lot of like communication at this time, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. And so 10 years from now, I feel like is going to be a very big planning stage of your life. And again, I do feel like you guys are doing something with your home life, like getting a new home, things like that. So you could be in the planning stages for that. Also, winds of change in terms of career. You guys are doing a lot of planning in terms of what to do for a career change, or like how to improve your career, how to expand your career in a certain way. So I do feel like that's going to be another prominent thing for you guys in your lives 10 years from now. Let's look at 3 more cards that we have over here. We have humor, we have adaptability, and we have home. We were talking about home life. So, all right. These cards coming up, we were talking a bit about home life, so I'm just going to tap into that really quickly first off. So I do feel like you guys are somehow purchasing a new home or changing up your home life. And I do feel like it's like the location of your home. So you guys might even be moving to a new city 10 years from now, or even a new state, new country, something like that. 10 years from now, you're changing up your home life. It could actually be like distance travel, or you guys are building your first home or building a second home, or, you know, doing something around home life where you guys are changing that up. So definitely keep that in mind. I feel like that's going to be one of the most prominent things that you're facing 10 years from now. And then we do also have adaptability over here. So I feel like you guys are going to be going through massive winds of change, and there's going to be such a drastic difference between your life now and the life that you're about to be living. Of course, there's going to be some strings that pull into, like, you know, your life right now compared to your life 10 years from now. But this adaptability coming up, you're going through some massive, massive change. And I feel like the amount that you're going to grow as a person between now and 10 years from now is going to be quite significant. The unknown card, again, is like you guys are stepping into such an unknown realm. And maybe that's why you guys are feeling like this career shift and home shift, is because you're stepping into a place that you've never even been before. So, oh yeah, that could totally, yeah. Wow, that one like hit me really hard all of a sudden. So you guys are stepping to a place that you've never been before. I feel like you guys might be moving somewhere that you've never lived before, and it's going to be quite the drastic change. And this is why we have adaptability, the unknown, and home. I feel like your career is going to take a shift because of it, or you might even be doing it because you desire a career shift and you desire like a life change. Therefore, you're going to be going somewhere pretty different. It could also just mean, for some of you, because it is a general reading, so I feel like there's a small portion of you that won't be exactly moving different cities, but you are moving in a certain way where I do feel like you guys are changing your home 10 years from now. And I feel like it's such a different home that you've ever lived in before. Like, you're gaining your wishes over here. Things are a little bit delayed, but I feel like you guys are embarking on like shifting your average everyday life. It's totally shifting entirely. Humor over here, I feel like you guys are going to be going through, like, the way that you're feeling throughout all of this is just really fun. So I don't want you guys to look at this being like, oh, I'm going to be stressed out because of all these things. I don't think you guys are going to be particularly taking it in a stressful way. I feel like you guys are going to be taking it in a, ooh, I'm finally getting all the things I've been wishing for. And it's going to be like this fun, joyous sort of time that you guys just feel like really stoked about, to say the least. And then our last two cards that we have over here is Patience and the Universe. So again, I was talking about tying the strings, and in this card, it kind of looks like she's tying the strings together of, you know, what she's planning, all that sort of stuff. And like, we have the world over here, so it's almost like the world's at your fingertips, and what you do right now is going to dictate the way that you wrap your strings around your universe of your life, essentially, metaphorically for your life. So what you do now is tying the strings together of what is going to play out 10 years from now. So definitely keep that in mind with what you're doing in your life at this moment, because you're currently tying the strings of your future and how that's going to play out. And it does look pretty good, though I will say, if you guys want to be further in life and career and stuff like that, begin to tie those strings now, because it does look like you're going to be going through some shifts 10 years from now, but it does look like very fun shifts that you're very excited about, things like that. The Patience card coming up, you might feel like you want all of this stuff now. Have some patience through it. You know, don't rush anything, because usually when we rush things, we overlook a lot of details and it doesn't come out in the right way. This is just like, things might even feel a little bit slow-paced for you 10 years from now when Patience comes up. It feels like things might be moving really slowly, and this is why we have like the delay cards over here, where you feel like, oh, I don't know exactly what's happening, but it seems like my wishes are coming true, but it feels like very delayed, da-da-da-da-da. I feel like you're going to have to keep quite a bit of patience 10 years from now. And it might feel like, oh, geez, you know, all those things. Sometimes as humans, we tend to get frustrated when we have to be patient and when things are moving slowly. But again, I do feel like you're going to be very excited about all the things that are happening. So everything's pretty Gucci there. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. All right, so pile number 2. If you guys chose this pile, this is going to be a reading all about what your life is going to be like 10 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 2, this is what we have for you guys. We start off with the Tower being reversed, then we have the Queen of Cups upright, then we have Justice upright, and then we have the Knight of Cups being reversed at the very end over here. So first off, I want to start off, the Tower being reversed is one of the best positions for this card. Of course, it being upright is a really great position as well, although a lot of people, like, it's more of the destruction phase. The Tower upright indicates like things crumbling in our lives that we've worked so hard to build up, but the reason why they crumble is because they weren't built on a solid foundation to begin with, and then they end up kind of crumbling away. And then the Tower being reversed is us finally being able to rebuild on a very solid foundation and learning from our past, learning from our mistakes, and finally realizing how to build a steady foundation. So what I'm getting for a lot of you guys, since we do also have the Queen of Cups and then the Knight of Cups, the Cups usually talk a lot about relationships and stuff like that. It can also be talking about our own emotions, stuff like that. So 10 years from now, I feel like you're going to be going through a major transformation. And I'm feeling like for some of you guys, this is going to be a relationship transformation where you kind of realize that maybe the person that has been in your life hasn't really like treated you the best, stuff like that, and it's almost like going through this time of like justice. Maybe it's even a relationship that's been so far gone in your past. It might not be that, 10 years from now you're finally realizing that you're stuck in this bad relationship and leaving it. This could also just mean that a relationship you've already had that's already in your past or will be in your past at this time is finally getting justified, and finally the scales are balancing themselves out if you feel like you've ever been unjustified in a specific relationship. This can also be talking about specific mindsets that you're in yourself. This could also be talking about your own behaviors towards yourself. This is like when we tend to have like a self-deprecating mindset, or we feel like we're not good enough, and we feel kind of negative towards ourselves. This is finally like the crumbling of feeling unworthy, feeling like you aren't good enough, that you don't like certain things about yourself. This is finally crumbling away those mindsets and feeling really confident. The Queen of Cups coming up over here, 10 years from now, you guys are going to feel the most confident that you've ever been in terms of relationships, in terms of your relationship with yourself, all that kind of stuff. You guys are going to reach this like place of, I love myself, and I'm never going to treat myself the same way. I'm never going to let other people treat me badly anymore. I'm never going to let myself treat me badly anymore. You're literally going to feel so emotionally at peace and in love with yourself and balanced finally. And not in like an egotistical way. It's finally just like really truly appreciating you in a very healthy way. And that's why Queen of Cups is upright, and the fact that we also have Justice. This is in a very balanced way. This is in a way where you are going to finally stand up for yourselves in lots of aspects of your life, where you're finally going to justify certain situations, and again, like stand up for yourself is like the word that keeps coming to my mind when we have Justice. And that is in relationships and in your relationship with yourself. I feel like anytime you have a bad thought, that new Justice sort of personality that you're going to have is going to go, nope, that's not right. And I do not believe the negativity about myself any longer. And you're kind of like liberating yourself from those things. You're also liberating yourself from toxic relationships, cutting those away. Those are crumbling away because they weren't built on a solid foundation to begin with. Ending on the Knight of Cups being reversed though, this is like stuff that I feel like happened in the past for you guys. The Knight of Cups is almost making me feel like past things that you've had with certain people, past mindsets that you've had where you felt maybe like insignificant in a way. These are finally going to be justified, but I feel like you're going to be facing a little bit. I feel like a little bit of it will still kind of come up 10 years from now, but I feel like you're going to be so much more equipped emotionally to handle these things that I feel like you're going to get over it really quickly. but I feel like you might still be facing some of those things and finally fully stepping into your light and your power in 10 years from now. So let's add a couple more cards on here to get some more information. So we have the Blade and the Crow. These two cards are very powerful, very significant, especially since the Blade deals with cutting away things in your life that no longer serve you. So this is cutting away old mindsets. This is cutting away, like blades always represent air since they cut through the air, stuff like that. So air always represents your mindset, the way you think about yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way others treat you, the way you allow others to speak to you, that sort of stuff. The blade comes in when we, of course, cut those ties. We cut those things away. We cut away the behaviors. We cut away the toxic people. We cut away the toxic mindsets that we've once had, and those are eradicated from our lives. So the blade coming up just indicates that 10 years from now, you're really going to be cutting away stuff like that from your life. The crow over here is very powerful. It comes in when we go through some major transformations, and also when we start to wear our past hardships as our strengths. Because, you know, in order to make it through a hardship, it requires a lot of strength to get through it. Therefore, I feel like you guys are going to have built so much strength. And this card almost reminds me of Jon Snow because, of course, he's the crow. And this is almost like, you know, he's been through a lot, and he grew up in a way where he wasn't exactly treated the best, and he was kind of always outcast, and he always felt kind of like an outcast, but then he almost wears it as like his armor and his strength. And the reason why he's such a powerful person is because instead of letting the hardships push him down, he allowed them to build his strength. It's almost like, you know, if someone's handing you a really heavy weight and you just grab it and it weighs you down to the ground and you get pulled down and you just go, okay, well, I'm stuck here. Oops, now I'm stuck here for the rest of my life. Instead, you guys are going to be the ones that have the mindset of, I'm going to keep trying to pull this up and raise it back up. And because you keep doing that, you gain the muscles to do so. And eventually, all of a sudden, you're back up and you're stronger than ever. And you're strong enough to beat whatever put you down to begin with, because you've used it to strengthen yourself instead of allowing it to weigh you down so much where you felt like you were stuck and couldn't come back up anymore. Use these things as your strengths, and I feel like 10 years from now, you're finally going to be at the point where you have gained so much strength through this, and it's like a whole new twist and turn to your guys' lives. And so let's add 3 more cards on here to find out some more information. So we have Liberation. Of course, this card reminds me a lot of Justice, because Justice is ruled by Libra. It is like all of the justice system is ruled by Libra, because Libra is the scales and the balance and stuff like that. And Liberation, I'm actually almost curious if the word liberation was derived from Libra, because Libra rules justice, and liberation is obviously like we're liberating ourselves, I wonder if it's correlated to the word Libra. Anyway, then we have flow, and then we have co-creation. So liberation, again, I feel like you guys are cutting away certain things in your lives that no longer serve you. Justice is coming to that. You're liberating yourself. Then we also have the flow over here. So I do feel like you're finally entering and flowing into a new state of being, a new mindset, a new way of life. And as you can see, she has all these like beautiful flowers in her hair and stuff. I feel like you guys are going to be so much, and this resembles like confidence, purity, purifying yourself, blossoming. I feel like you guys are going to be finally blossoming, and all these women almost look like warriors to me. So it's like, and that's really sticking out to me right now. So you guys are entering a part of your lives 10 years from now where you've gained so much strength from what you've been through that, again, you're feeling the most confident than you've ever felt before. And you're feeling so ready to face the world. And I feel like so many things are going to happen because of it. We have this co-creation card. It's almost like you guys get this fearless energy to go after your dreams in such a fearless manner, because you're like, I've been through so much that I just have the strength and the wisdom and the courage now to just go into anything, to get my feet wet in any pond, because you no longer are worried about it. You've been through it. You've been through some stuff. You're no longer worried about going through stuff again, because you realize that you do have the power to get through anything. And I feel like your creation, your amount of like manifesting and chasing your dreams is going to be so driven at this point that you're going to be almost unstoppable, you guys. Oh, I got goosebumps saying that. The next two cards, or the last two cards that we have over here, is the Wildling and Reflect. So, whew, guys, 10 years from now, you're going to let that wild side out. You're going to be like ready to take on anything. You guys are going to be like truly liberated. Like if you think about Wildling, oh, it's so funny. We were talking about Game of Thrones and like the Crow with Jon Snow, and then we have the Wildling, which is kind of like Ygritte. So yeah, you guys are definitely liberating yourself from what you felt that you needed to be in the past. You're liberating yourself from like the expectations of other people, and you're finally letting out your wild side, doing what you want. And then we have Scissors again. We have so many like, literally look at the, I just need to hold these up. Oh my gosh. Look at the blades in this card, and then like the two scissors right here. Woo! You guys are cutting away so many things 10 years from now. You guys are truly liberating yourselves. I feel like the cutting the ties is like liberating yourself from what other people expect of you, from the ties of other people that have probably held you down and held you back. You're finally cutting those ropes and cutting all of that off, and just being like, I'm just going to liberate myself from all of these things. And I feel like you guys are going to go through massive change because of it. And there's going to be, like, ending on the reflection card, you're going to see how much you've transformed from now to 10 years from now, that it's going to be like wild. It's going to be wild. Wow, you guys, that was a powerful reading. I'm like, whew, got goosebumps throughout that. Anyway, that is what I see for you guys. Pile number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. All right, so pile number 3, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be a reading all about where you're going to be 10 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 3, this is what we have for you guys. So we have the Empress reversed over here as our first card. Then we have the Six of Cups upright. Then we have the Chariot upright. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles upright. So first off, I do want to mention, when we have these two cards right next to each other, this can indicate children. So for some of you, and this is not all of you, because I know some of you guys are just like, children is like out of the question for you guys. So this can actually have like a double meaning depending on who is receiving the message. So since this is a general reading, I'm going to touch on 2 of the different possibilities of these 2 cards being right here. First off, the most common thing is this means children. This means having children. This means getting pregnant, having kids. The Empress is a pregnant woman to begin with, and then Six of Cups indicates children. So this can be one of the ways to interpret this. So 10 years from now, you guys might be having like, you know, your first children, or you guys might already have children 10 years from now, and that's just one of the significant differences between your life right now and your life 10 years from now, is that you will probably have kids. Secondly, if kids are just like out of the question for you guys, and that's like not a thing, another way to interpret this is Six of Cups usually indicates our past, reconnecting to our like inner child, stuff like that. And the Empress can be like the birth of like a new thing. Though I feel like this is like almost returning to your roots in a certain way, in terms of like reconnecting to your past, or reconnecting to something that you once wanted to do with your life and then you like left it on the back burner. So the Empress like brings ideas, brings newness into life. So something that I feel like I'm really getting for you guys, pile number 3, is that you're probably going to be returning to like an old project that you guys once wanted to do, or like an old idea, and you're finally going to be like, okay, it's time to like do it. It's time to bring this idea to the real world, into real life. And so I feel like you're returning to like something that you've previously wanted to do with your life, and you're going to be finally like, ooh, it's time to do it. The Chariot is usually like moving forward. Ace of Pentacles is like business ideas, doing some new things, and like da 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 da. So I do feel like 10 years from now, you guys are going to be thinking about like an old career thing that you guys might have wanted to do or that you guys might have thought of. And I feel like you're going to be transforming it in a certain way and actually bringing like this career idea to life, or this material idea, something that you guys have wanted to do materially. This can also be when we are entering a stage in our life where we're making more money, or we're buying a lot of like material things and our material world is enhancing since we have the Ace of Pentacles. But this is like just on the verge of like entering a phase where we feel like we can spend more money and buy more things, da 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 da. Again, I do also want to say that for those of you who will be having kids, I do feel like you're going to have kids 10 years from now, at least one, at least. Could be two, because the Chariot is over here, and that usually indicates like there's a dualistic quality. But for those of you that are going to be having kids and that really resonates with you and that really correlates with you, I do feel like you're going to be dividing your life over here, and your life is going to be divided between kids, career. And that's like a normal thing that usually happens when we have kids and stuff, is like we feel like we're leading two separate lives where we're like da 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 da. And I feel like you guys are more headed into the direction of taking care of your family 10 years from now, because she is like facing this direction. And so for those of you that will be having kids in this time frame, your life is going to so drastically change more towards taking care of family matters rather than career, though I do feel like career is still definitely like a thing you will be focusing on. So I don't want you guys who really, really like career and you don't ever want to leave it behind. You're not going to. It's still here. It's still here. But it's definitely less significant compared to your family life in 10 years from now. And you're going to be more about, raising your kids, helping them out, teaching them, guiding them, all that kind of stuff. Career is definitely still a thing, and I do feel like you guys will be starting a new project 10 years from now and opening up like a new thing 10 years from now. Or this can also be a promotion. This can be a change in your job as well. Since it's the Ace, this is usually indicating a beginning. And so this is when I say like beginning a business or starting something new. I'm feeling a lot of that energy because Ace is like starting something new. This could be starting a new job, changing careers, opening up a new business, starting a new project, that sort of thing. And I do feel like it's something that you guys have been thinking about for a while. So 10 years from now, this is going to be like a project that you've been debating for a while, and it's finally going to be like, okay, we're going to begin it. We're going to do it. And so definitely keep that in mind. You're going to be definitely doing that. But I feel like, again, major focus is on family life. If family life is out of the question for you guys, this is just focusing on like your love life, your particular family, and also reminiscing a lot about past ideas and kind of connecting to your inner child and being like, what dreams do I want to make happen now? What do I really want to do? Who am I really? And what do I want to start in my life? Because I feel like you guys are going to have a desire to expand, not only in your family life, but also in your personal inner world, how you want to expand. And I do feel like you guys are purchasing something pretty big 10 years from now. There's going to be like a major purchase when we have the Ace of Pentacles. This can be purchasing land, making a major purchase in order to open up a new business, stuff like that. So let's add on 2 more cards to get a little bit more information over here. So we have the lower world and magic. Ooh, magic. I love when that card comes up. So the lower world, this can indicate that we are taking a little bit of an inward journey to like our past, reconnecting with our past again, which is kind of what I was talking about. So I do feel like you guys are almost taking this sort of inward journey and being like, okay, who am I really and what do I really want to do in this world and how can I make that impact? So I do feel like you guys are going to be exploring that. And I also feel like you guys are discovering hidden gems about life at this time. That kind of hit me really powerfully. Since we have magic and the lower world is where we find, and I mean this in a metaphorical way, it is like a literal definition, but I mean this in a metaphorical way in terms of applying it to your life. So the lower world is where we find crystals and gems that have been harboring there for so long, and we generally don't see them a lot on like the surface of our world. Well, we do, but most of them, they get created by the pressure from our inner world. So I feel like 10 years from now, you guys are going to be discovering ideas. And I feel like this is why you're going to be like, ooh, career things. I need to focus a little bit on that and a little bit over here, is because I feel like you guys are going to come across ideas that are like so exciting to you and so magical. And I feel like you guys are going to almost have this like profound idea to like start something new in this world and it's quite magical. This can also be talking about, you know, getting pregnant and stuff like that, because again, this is talking about like the inner world and creation, and babies start from like an inner place and get created by the magic of our inner world. So it can also be indicating that, but I do feel like there's a major like life purpose destiny aspect over here for you guys, dealing with discovering like hidden gems is like the metaphorical explanation that I have for this, is like discovering hidden gems of like ideas, things to do, ideas that you want to bring into fruition, stuff like that. Whew, powerful stuff. Let's add 3 more cards onto here to get a little bit more information. All right, so we have healing, independence, and death and magic. Of course, we have another magic card coming up. So healing over here, I do feel like you guys are healing some like past sort of stuff. You guys are focusing a little bit on your past, your inner child, stuff like that. So I do feel like you guys are healing those certain aspects of yourself in 10 years from now. We do also have independence over here. And so I feel like you guys are like, you're feeling more yourself than you've ever felt before. You're feeling more connected to your inner truth and more connected to who you truly are and your purpose and your destiny when we have independence. And it's almost like you've had to rebel a few times against, like, you know, maybe how you were raised, what society expects of you, and you've had to kind of break free from that and create your own wings and create your own voice. And this independence is what's going to bring you to discovering your own true magic, your own inner magic. Death and magic over here is like, maybe you guys are even somebody who likes to explore the realm of magic and stuff like that. So that can also be a definite thing. Healing over here, maybe you guys are returning to your roots of like, maybe you guys have this certain healing ability, things like that. Or maybe it's just that you guys, you know, you've healed yourself and your inner child and you're ready for your own like independence and stepping into your own true nature. And then also the transformation. Death always indicates transformation. So it's like you're this transforming butterfly into your own independent nature. And you're going to discover your own magic. You're going to discover your own destiny, your own purpose. And so 10 years from now, it's like your destiny and purpose become very clear. And it's like this, you get ignited with this spark and this magic, and you guys feel like you've really discovered who you are, and there's this magical essence and energy behind all of that. And then we also have shadow and higher perspective as our last cards. So shadow over here, I feel like you are going to be doing some major healing based on your past, and I feel like for those of you who do end up having kids in 10 years from now, you're going to be healing a lot from your past by having your own children, and you're going to be facing a lot of stuff that, like, you're going to heal so much of your childhood through having children that you might not even realize was there. Interesting. And you're going to kind of create this higher perspective from that. Or it could just be like by reinvigorating some old past ideas that you've had, and finally like realizing your purpose, realizing your destiny. I feel like it's going to help you heal a lot from the past, focusing in on that kind of like inward sort of stuff. And it's going to push you to this heightened perspective, and you're going to reach a magical place because of it, and you'll realize that all of this was so destined and so purposeful for you. So that is what I see for you guys. Pile number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. All right, so my 4th pile, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your reading all about where you're going to be 10 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 4, we start off here with the 4 of Cups being reversed, then we have the 10 of Wands upright, then we have the 3 of Cups being reversed over here, and then we have the Devil upright over here. So let's get into what all of this represents and means for you. Starting off with the 4 of Cups being reversed, I feel like you guys are changing your perspective and you're able to finally receive from the world. And so if you guys have ever struggled with feeling like the world's been against you, or that you've been handed like a bad hand in any sort of way, or that you've just like, you've gone through a lot of struggles before. If you guys have ever had this mindset of like kind of being a little bit pessimistic, or even struggling with a little bit of like depression or stress and stuff like that, the 4 of Cups when it's reversed is changing this perspective, because this is almost realizing that what you focus on is what you see. And the 4 of Cups when it's reversed let me just explain like the original picture of the Four of Cups, and this will hopefully make a lot more sense. So the original picture of the Four of Cups is a guy sitting under a tree looking at all of the cups that have fallen over, and he doesn't realize that behind him, God is essentially handing him a full cup out of the sky. But he doesn't see it because it's behind him. So this is talking about his perspective. So essentially his perspective is looking at all of the cups that have fallen over in front of him. And since he's constantly looking at that, and he's not looking at the good, he's not seeing the good that's being handed to him. Therefore, he doesn't have that experience. So Four of Cups, when it's reversed, he finally looks over his shoulder and changes his perspective and is like, oh, there was something so positive just waiting for me right behind me this whole time. And so 10 years from now, I feel like you guys are going to have this shift in perspective where you're finally raking in the good things and you're finally receiving blessings, you're receiving the miracles of life, stuff like that. The 10 of Wands being next is like you're finally on the hustle, you're on the grind. This can also be when, you know, we've taken on a lot and we have a lot of responsibility at this point. So in 10 years from now, I do feel like you guys are going to have a lot more responsibility in your life. There's going to be a lot of things. But I do feel like you guys are going to be a lot more positive of a person. Therefore, kind of like the weight that you might be carrying is going to be less unbearable. It's going to be more bearable because you guys have this like positive mindset. I do feel like your friend group is going to change drastically over 10 years from now when we have the Three of Cups being reversed. Ooh, that's an alarm clock going off. Okay, so that's probably some sort of sign. So for you guys, the Three of Cups being reversed, this is like, yeah, your friend group is entirely changing and you're going to kind of realize that the people that you used to be around were kind of influencing some of the negativity that you might have had in your life. And I also feel like you guys are going to be so beyond like certain friends of yours 10 years from now. So I do feel like in 10 years from now, your original friends, and not all of them, I don't want you guys to like listen to this being like, oh, all of your friends are not good. But there's definitely a significant portion of your friends that you're going to realize kind of get stuck in the mindset of like, ooh, let's party, let's do this, let's do that, let's da 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 da. And I feel like you're going to be someone who's like, I have responsibilities and I have dreams and I'm going to go hustle and go attain them. So I feel like you're going to be somebody with that mindset, and I do feel like your friend group is going to change because of that. It's not necessarily that one is better than the other at all. It's just that you guys are going to be more focused on, I want to create and do so much in this world, and maybe your friends don't have the same desires as you 10 years from now, and you don't really relate anymore because you guys have different desires and wants and needs. And your desires and wants and needs are going to be more about attaining and hustling and going after it and getting that bread. So I feel like that's one thing that you guys are going to be dealing with 10 years from now. And when we end on the Devil, this is almost like we might feel chained to some certain things in our life, like some toxic things from our past. We feel like that might be still holding us back a little bit. So I feel like 10 years from now, you're finally going to be realizing all of the things in your life that do not serve you and actually hold you back. And I feel like it's going to be a time of realizing that you need to cut away some certain things in your life and realizing that your only chain to them is an illusion. Essentially, the Devil rules illusions and stuff like that. And so there might be certain people in your life that make you feel repressed and oppressed. And you guys are finally going to be tugging like the chains behind you, because it's almost like the Devil is like you're chained to it, you have a ball and chain, and you're almost like stuck in your current spot. The 10 of Wands is like when we stop giving a crap that we have this ball and chain attached, and we're like, I'm just going to keep walking anyway, even though it's a struggle. And it's a struggle to get out of it, but I'm going to keep going in the direction I want to go. My muscles will build over time and I'll get there, and I'm just going to do it. So it's like definitely that sort of energy that you guys have in 10 years from now, but it's a very positive outlook. It's a very positive mindset since we have the Four of Cups being reversed. This is very like optimistic, and you guys feel really happy about where you're going, but you realize that you still have like these chains that you need to kind of let go of. So let's add some more cards on here to get a little bit more of a perspective on here. So we have Pachamama, and then we also have Upper World. Don't laugh at my pronunciation of that. I pronounce things funny all the time. So Pachamama, this is like the goddess of the earth, and she kind of rules like rumbling up and changing up the earth through like earthquakes and these like like wild changes and like nature changes. She's almost like Mother Earth in a way. And so Pachamama coming up, this is like, we're going through those earthquakes of change. We're going through all of that, but it's honestly being divinely guided. And this goddess is like, you know, even to be a goddess, we have to change things up once in a while and go through some struggles and create some obstacles for ourselves. And like, it's what builds us into the strong goddess or god that we end up becoming and stuff like that. So definitely keep that in mind as well. I do feel like there's like this powerful rebuilding your foundation, because we have 4 over here and then we have a 4 over here numerologically. So this is like, we are rebuilding the foundation that we sit on. We're rebuilding who we are. We're rebuilding like how we associate with ourselves and our identity. So I feel like you guys are going to be majorly rebuilding your identity and changing it up a bit. And then we have Upper World over here. So it's like you guys are ascending to the next level. You guys are like, I'm no longer going to keep living at the same level that I've always lived at. I'm going to hustle to get ascended to the next level. I am no longer going to keep living in the same way. And I'm going to improve, and I'm going to strive for that improvement. So 10 years from now, you guys are striving for that improvement. You guys are going for it, and y'all are getting it. The next 3 cards that we have over here is the future, the past, and truth. So, okay, it's very interesting and very coincidental that we have the future and the past coming up together in the same spread. That's very interesting. So the future and the past, I feel like you guys are going to be heading into the future, but you're heading into the future because of like the way that your past has been, which I mean, like all of us kind of go through that, but this is like, you guys are going to be so excited about your future. And I feel like you guys are going through this transition. 10 years from now is this transition. It's like you're meeting the bridge of the future and the past. And I feel like once you head into your future, there's going to be things that you look back on in your past and you're going to be like, oh, I really wish I could bring that over here, but it can't go over there because you guys are heading into the future. And it's almost like you guys see the truth of what your life has been because you're finally on this bridge. And like when you're on a bridge, you can see both sides is the thing. Whereas people that are still stuck in the past tend to not see the bright side of the future. And people that are so into the future tend to forget a lot about their past because things are just so different. I feel like you guys are going to be on that bridge of truth where you're just kind of like looking at that interesting perspective and the dualistic quality of like future versus past. And it's going to be quite drastically different 10 years from now for you guys. So definitely keep that in mind. But I do feel like you're definitely going through this like transition of, I'm upping my game. You're going to be stepping up your game, guys, in 10 years from now. And it's like, yeah, whoo. Definitely, I feel like you guys are heading into an entirely new direction since we have the future and the past. I feel like they're very wildly different. As we can see, like this card's all red and this card's all blue. Very kind of like a dualistic, interesting quality that we have over here. All right, and then our last 2 cards is Release. And then the Magi. I don't know how to pronounce the Magi. It's basically stands for the magician, but yeah. So release over here. You guys are releasing so much of your past. You're releasing so much of your old perspective. You're releasing all the kind of things that used to hold you back. And you're finally like, ooh, time to step into that future, time to transform into that. I'm almost like, because of this like sort of frog sort of figure that we have here on this lily pad, it's almost making me think of The Princess and the Frog, where it's like, she kisses him in his frog state and all of a sudden he becomes a prince. It's almost like the way that you guys are ascending. You guys maybe used to feel like the frog and the world was kind of like, you maybe felt lower or less than or less worthy in a certain way, and it's only been like your inner perspective and you kind of realize that nope, time to transform and step up and ascend to the next level, because I'm giving myself permission to do that. And you guys are going to be doing that. And then the Magician's like, you guys have all the tools in front of you to make all of your dreams happen. You realize that they've been in front of you this whole time, and you just needed to change the perspective of who you are in order to actually utilize them. Because of course, the Magician, with all of his magical tools, a frog can't exactly come up to all those magical tools and be like, oh, I'm just going to like use all of them. They're too heavy. You can't utilize them as a frog. Like, you can't even pick them up. So I feel like you're going to realize your true potential, and you're going to be really transforming into ascending yourself, and then realizing, oh, I can use all of that. All of that is at my disposal. I can grab onto it. I can choose and make any choice that I've desired to make. So that is what I see for you guys. Pile number 4. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. All right, so my last pile number 5. If you guys chose this reading, this is going to be your prediction all about where you're going to be 10 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 5, this is what we have for you guys. So we have Temperance over here upright, and then we have the Emperor upright. These are two very powerful cards. Then we also have the 9 of Swords reversed, which is much better being reversed. Then we have the 2 of Pentacles reversed, which is a little bit of tipsy-turvy kind of card. Literally, I mean that literally, because she's trying to balance the 2 Pentacles, and she's getting a little bit out of balance when she's upside down. So let's talk about what all of this indicates about where you will be and what your life is going to look like 10 years from now. So starting off, I want to talk about the Emperor. You guys are going to be pretty successful 10 years from now. Like, this is like, y'all are owning it. Y'all are making some serious dough. More than you probably thought that you could have made 10 years from now. So definitely keep that in mind. Temperance over here is like, we are probably traveling a lot. So 10 years from now, I do see like you guys are probably able to go here, go there. You might be even traveling for work, things like that. So definitely keep that in mind as well. We do have all these butterflies, and I do see like being able to fly here, fly there, kind of doing all these things where you guys feel really on top of it. You guys feel really on top of your game, and you're able to kind of like, you have this freedom. Temperance is also kind of like the freedom of all of this. And also being able to mix in things that weren't normally mixed in before. And so I also feel like you guys are going to be doing something with your life that you didn't really see. So it's something that you don't really see happening right now. And you might even have like a slight glimpse of it at the moment, but I feel like it's going to be so much more than what you can imagine right now, especially when we have these 2 major arcana cards. It's more than you can imagine in this moment, so that's always good news. The 9 of Swords being reversed over here, I feel like a lot of the stresses that you're facing right now are going to be so insignificant, and you're going to be fully healed from those stresses, though you are going to encounter some new stresses since we have the 2 of Pentacles being reversed. And this just kind of indicates that we are having to figure out how to balance our life a little bit more, because I feel like you guys are going to be, you're going to have so much more responsibility on your plate. You're going to have so much more going on in your life that it might be hard to like balance and juggle all of the things that are going on. But your current stresses are going to be like so insignificant 10 years from now, and you're not even going to worry about them anymore, and you're going to be very healed from them, especially if you guys have noticed that you have trouble sleeping and stuff like that. I feel like that is going to be over and done with 10 years from now. I feel like you guys are going to be over a lot of the fears that you used to have, like all of them, in fact. All of the fears that you currently have in life right now are going to be fully healed, although you're going to be dealing with balancing out life and dealing with the struggle of, yeah, just like balancing it out, things like that. Though I do want to mention there is lots of like change, and the 2 of Pentacles is like usually when we're going on this like kind of like roller coaster as well, and there's like this like flow, and we're going up and down and up and down. So I do feel like there's going to be like this balancing out 2 different things. Temperance in here helps us keep this balance, and so I feel like you're going to keep this balance by figuring out how to incorporate all of these things into your life that you really want to do, and figuring out how to sort out time for all of these things, that sort of thing. You're going to have a lot more wisdom than you've ever had in your life before. I mean, that's a given, because 10 years, we tend to learn a lot in 10 years. So I definitely feel like that's going to be reflecting a lot in your life 10 years from now. So let's add on some more cards to get some more insight and some more information. So we have Taming the Wind and the Hunter. So the Hunter reminds me a lot of the Emperor. I do feel like you guys are going to be very good at like attaining your goals. Anytime that you have a goal that you want to go after, the Emperor and the Hunter is like you set your sights on something and you just hit the target. You go for the target. Taming the Wind, I do feel like a lot of your stresses are going to be very comforted, and a lot of your fears that you might have in life right now are going to be very, very, very healed. So Taming the Wind, definitely like, this is a time in your life where I feel like you're going to be also slowing down a little bit and realizing that you need to slow down. I feel like from now and in the next 10 years, your life is going to be pretty fast paced. And it's going to take you to this like really high up place where you feel like you've accomplished a lot. But 10 years from now, you're finally going to be wanting to tame that wind and create a bit more balance, because you're going to realize that it's really hard to like, struggle, the struggle of like balancing it. Temperance finally comes in when we tame that wind. We slow down a little bit, we take our time. But I do see a lot of travel for you guys over the next 10 years. And then the Hunter, of course, like you guys are really targeting your goals. You're going for it. You set your sights on something and you know how to get it. And your drive and your motivation is pretty freaking powerful. So our next 3 cards that we have over here is Compassion, Alliance, and Illusion. So starting off with Compassion. You guys are gonna be going through this part of your life where you're gonna kind of see the world in a new way. And instead of this like constant like hunter mindset of like, bam, get, I feel like you're going to have this balance between attaining and then also really just appreciating. And I feel like you're going to have a major appreciation for how far you've come in life at this point. In 10 years from now, there's going to be this major like appreciation for how far you've come and like all of the things that you've had to overcome. Also in this Alliance card, we have like this sort of Aries symbol on the side over here, and the Emperor is ruled by Aries. So this, I do want to point out, you are going to be like jumping into new projects at this time, jumping into these new areas of life. There's going to be this desire to slow down a little bit in order to gain a little bit more balance, but I do feel like this comes in just because you've been so headfirst into all of these different things, and you've kind of gained this like hunter mindset of like target spotted, go after, bam, accomplished, bam, accomplished. So Alliance is finally when we kind of like calm down that energy and we realize the more mature side of Aries, where we're like, okay, I still have this drive, I still have this motivation, but it's more in like a controlled way. I also feel like you guys are going to become very like at peace with your past. You guys are going to do a lot of healing with your past. I feel like if you guys have had certain relationships that like in your family life that haven't been the greatest, I feel like 10 years from now there's going to be this like mutual understanding that's entirely different. Also, I just caught a glance underneath my table at this other tarot deck that I have, or oracle deck I should say, that I have, and the card that's like sitting at the top is literally the Hunter. And I'm not even like using this oracle deck in the moment, but this card was just like sitting right there. How freaking weird. Just want to say, we're gonna pull this card out because that's like pretty significant. I'm just gonna like pop them in the middle over there. So I feel like you guys are gonna have this possibly like new like drive and motivation for material success. The Hunter represents material success, drive, motivation, accomplishing, conquering. I feel like you guys are going to be at a very strong place financially 10 years from now, because the Hunter usually signifies someone who's very good at gaining material success. And so I do feel like you guys are going to be gaining a lot materially, especially materially. So anything to deal with career, money, building like nice homes, having a nice car, stuff like that. I feel like you guys are going to be very good at attaining that, and you guys will be attaining a lot of that. And the alliance is like, I do feel like you're gonna have certain partners in your life. You're gonna have certain, and what I mean by partners is like business partners is what I'm talking about in the moment. So I do feel like you're gonna be working with like other people at this time, and like really stepping up your resource game, and like able to like conquer your resources and attain your resources, and anything that you kind of desire, especially materially, again, is just like so heightened. You're going to be allied with like a lot of people, and I feel like it's going to help you expand a lot in your material success. And then we do also have illusion over here. So when this card comes up, I do also feel like you're going to be in 10 years from now kind of realizing the true meaning of life, because I feel like you're going to have accomplished so much materially in your life, but I feel like you're also going to be realizing that it's not really providing the happiness that you guys truly want. And I do feel like that's going to be a big realization that you guys do have 10 years from now. And you're kind of, and I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with gaining a lot materially, but I think you guys are going to find out that there's still this sort of gap that you guys need to fix and that you guys need to bring into your life. And I feel like that's why compassion is over here, because you're going to realize that you want more emotion in your life because you've been so successful materially, that I do feel like you're going to realize the balance, because we were kind of talking about balance earlier. You guys are going to finally realize the balance that you need to bring in your life, in terms of like maybe your emotional life is kind of lacking, and you're going to want to bring some more of that into your life. The last two cards that we have over here is the Observer and Get Curious. So I do feel like 10 years from now, you're going to get curious about like exploring more realms rather than just work, money, and material things. The Observer is, I feel like you're going to be reflecting a lot on your life thus far. You're going to be very proud of yourself with how much you've accomplished, for sure, but I do feel like you're going to be starting to get curious to like spread your wings and spread your horizons even more, especially in terms of compassion and love and stuff like that. So I do feel like you're going to be a bit focused on that sort of stuff, and you're going to want to tame the wind. That's why we have the Taming of the Wind card, is like you guys have accomplished so much materially that you're finally going to want to slow down a little bit and add some balance in your life, and add a bit more like of the emotional side of your life back into the game, essentially. So that is what I see for you, pile number 5. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.